Hello. Today is a story about the day I had to take something into school for show and tell day, but I didn't realise that chocolate could have an interesting effect on aliens.
Ricky Rocket rocks the planet.
The story A Present from Earth comes from my book Ricky Rocket Rocks the Planet. Now read along with me. Ricky Rocket stuck his feet out of the cupboard under the stairs and waggled them. Ricky is the only Earth boy on the planet of Hammerhead, and his little sister Sue is the only Earth girl on the planet. Hee 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 hee, Sue giggled as she crept up and tickled Ricky's pink wriggling toes. Ricky jerked and hit his head on the shelf. Ricky whooshed up the stairs after her. "Wait till I get you, you little..." The air filled with the kind of ear-splitting, blood-curdling, brain-jamming screams that little Earth girls are famous for all over the universe. Mum blocked the landing and shouted over the din, "What is going on?" "Ricky's chasing me," Sue whined. "Well, she started it," Ricky complained. "She made me hit my head in the cupboard." "Well, what were you doing in there?" Mum asked. "I've got to find something from Earth for show and tell day tomorrow," Ricky explained. "Oh, Ricky," Mum sighed deeply. "It's nearly bedtime. Why do you always leave things to the last minute?" "You're in trouble, ha 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 ha," Sue sing-songed. Ricky lunged at his sister, but Mum caught him by the collar and held him back like an attack dog on a short lead. Mum took a deep breath. "Sue, go and get ready for bed. And Ricky, tell me exactly what you need for this show and tell day." Here is a post that explains human things to aliens, and it tells you about 5 horrible things about little sisters. Number 1, they smell with all this perfume, and they scream. They tell tales, and they play with dolls, and they're girls. Ricky Rocket's classmates came from all over the universe, so show and tell days were always interesting and often quite dangerous. Most of the things that Ricky wanted to take to school were now banned. Ricky told Mum about the day his best friend Bubbles had brought some music from the planet Fuddle-Duddle. "Listen to this," Bubbles enthused. The music was dreamy. It sounded like tinkly silver bubbles floating in the air. "It's so beautiful," the Rogan sisters trilled before they fell into a deep trance. They didn't wake up again until the end of term, so music had been banned from show and tell days. This tells you about music from the planet Fuddle-Duddle. It's played on fud pods, which are half plant and half machine. Fud pods live in bowls of water with special fud food. When they're put together, they sing wonderful harmonies about the beauty of the universe. Some people say they sound like a herd of cows mooing in tune. There was only one thing that Ricky didn't like about school: Grip. Grip was the biggest and ugliest creature in the class. Grip came from Hammerhead, so he thought that he was in charge. On his show and tell day, he showed them a game called Find the Shark. Grip hid a small stone shark's head under one of 3 cups which were placed upside down on the table. Grip muddled up the cups, and you had to guess where the shark was. It looked so easy, but however carefully Ricky watched, he could never choose the cup with the shark. I'll do it really slowly, Grip smirked. Now watch very closely. Ricky never took his eyes off the cup that hid the shark's head. He was positive he knew which cup to choose. It's definitely under that one, he said, pointing to the cup nearest to him. Grip smiled an oily, toothy smile. You wanna bet? Their class teacher, Ms. Fizz, bleeped excitedly. Red and green lights flashed on her head as her electronic brain worked out the maths of Grip's game. I would say, she finally announced, that there is a 99.999% chance of Ricky's choice being correct. Ricky tingled all over. He was so sure he was right, he bet his best Lord Vorg game card on it. Grip leered as he pulled the cup away. I don't believe it, Ricky gasped. It's not there. It must be a trick. By dinner time, Grip had won Grombolian marbles, upside-down pens, tiddlywinks, and all sorts of stuff off his classmates. Ms. Fizz had bet and lost 15 good behaviour stars, and those were the first stars that Grip had ever had. Eventually, Mr. Blister, the head teacher, proved that the game was a trick, and he made Grip give back everything he had won, and he banned games from show and tell days. Tammy Tweedle showed her pet Bluebar from the planet Twizzle. Bluebar are a sort of cuddly flying plant. Oh, it's so cute, Ricky said. He opened the cage when Tammy wasn't looking. Don't let it out! Tammy shrieked with an ear-splitting, blood-curdling, brain-jamming scream. Ricky thought only little Earth girls could scream like that. Too late, the Bluebar squawked and shot out of the cage. Whew! It landed on Dooley's furry head, and the Bluebar immediately began growing roots in Dooley's hair. Dooley and the Bluebar had to go to hospital, where they needed an operation to separate them. Ms. Fizz banned pets from show and tell days. Now this tells you about some weird space plants, amoebids. You can swallow them raw like oysters to help digest heavy meals. Transmitter lilies can send messages across deep space. Sweet Neptune is only sweet if you come from Neptune. It's the smelliest flower in the universe, even with a smiley face. And Callisto cabbage grows wild in the stink bogs of Callisto. It's a little known fact that supernova candy floss is made from Callisto cabbage. Ricky has supernova candy floss in another book called Vorg World. Click up here somewhere to read that. Mum and Ricky searched for things that he could show and talk about. How about Sue's doll's house furniture, Mum suggested. They're like models of Earth things. He's not having anything of mine, Sue yelled from her room. Well, I wouldn't take any of your stupid, stinky things, Ricky snapped back. What about this old alarm clock, Mum soothed? It's got Earth hours. That's really interesting. Oh, that is so boring, Ricky groaned. Mum held up an Earth cookery book. There was a picture of a tasty chicken casserole on the cover. How about this? Oh, no, Rooster wouldn't like it, Ricky explained. She's a chicken person. It would be like we were cooking her family. Mum sighed. We've moved around the universe so often we haven't got much stuff left that actually comes from Earth. And Ricky hadn't been to Earth since he was a tiny baby. He had nothing to show and not much to tell. The next morning, at breakfast, Ricky was in a gloomy mood. He was thinking up excuses to tell Miss Fizz when the postbot rang the bell and delivered a huge parcel. "It's from Granny Earth," Dad said as he cut through the shrink wrapper. "Oh, I wonder what she sent us." "Winterval presents!" Ricky and Sue cheered. There were presents for all of them, wrapped in colourful paper with pictures of little red birds and houses covered in snow. There was a box of candles for candle night and 2 bars of chocolate.
Oh, chocolate, my favourite,
Ricky sighed. And then a bright idea struck him. "I'll take the chocolate to school. Now that's one Earth thing that I can talk about for hours." This tells you about Winterval. Before global warming, in the 21st century, Earthlings used to brighten up the winter season with many festivals, and these are now remembered at Winterval. Trees are decorated with electric candles and silver balls, and presents like socks or candy are given. And candles are lit in the window to welcome family and visitors. When Miss Fizz called Ricky to the front of the class, he was ready.
This is chocolate," he explained, holding up the purple and silver package. "It is made from cocoa seeds. It melts on your tongue in a most wonderful, warm, sweet, gooey way. It is probably the most favourite thing on earth."
"Let's have a bit then," said Grip. Ricky's heart missed a beat. He hadn't thought that he might have to share his precious chocolate. Sue would never share hers.
Well, Ricky, Miss Fizz asked, "can we try some of your chocolate?"
Ricky knew it would be rude to say no. Oh, yes, he stammered. "I suppose so." Reluctantly, he slid a finger under the shiny purple wrapper and flipped it open. Then slowly he unpeeled the silver paper. He broke the chocolate up into squares and, with a sinking heart, he offered them to his classmates. Shelby took the silver paper and ate it. "Quite good," he said. "Not as good as the stuff we get on my planet."
"No," Ricky explained. "The brown stuff is the chocolate.
Just stick it in your mouth and let it melt." But some of Ricky's classmates were cold-blooded, and the chocolate wouldn't melt in their mouths, so they crunched it instead. It's sort of like eating soft beetles," said Dooley. "It don't taste of nothing," Grip growled as he swallowed his piece in one go. Bubbles was so warm-blooded that the chocolate melted too quickly and dribbled from the corner of his mouth, and then the trumpets on Bubbles' head began to make the most extraordinary sounds. Brown, chocolatey bubbles began oozing from his trumpets, and they floated around the room. All around him, Ricky's classmates clutched their stomachs and groaned. Terrible burping and burbling noises filled the room, and there was a horrible, sweet, chocolatey stink in the air. And then, as if someone had given a signal, 25 assorted aliens made a stampede for the door. Luckily, the school had lots of different toilets, at least one for every kind of alien in the school, so there weren't any major accidents. Ricky felt fine, of course, and Miss Fizz called for a doctor. Ricky watched the doctor put the last few crumbs of his chocolate into an analyzer.
Aha!
The doctor smiled.
This chocolate stuff of yours contains methyl xanthines. They are the most powerful laxative known in the universe. Anyone who eats chocolate, except for earthlings of course, will need to go to the toilet faster than a shooting star.
So now chocolate has a galactic health warning on it. It says, do not eat chocolate, extremely poisonous to non-earthlings. Learn what it looks like. Lurkish delight. Also known as Chockies or Chocks. And there's the brands Cadbury's and Hubble and Tobor and Milky Way and Martian Bar and Galactica. After school, Mum chatted with Miss Fizz. How was Ricky's show and tell? She asked. Well, Miss Fizz flashed some purple lights. Ricky made quite an impression on the class. Mum gave Ricky a hug. Oh, well done, Ricky. Ricky stared at his feet. Mum would hear the truth in the end. So everyone liked his talk then? Mum asked. Miss Fizz's lights twinkled from purple to red. I think we can say, she giggled, that Ricky has taught us everything we will ever need to know about chocolate.
Did you know that you can get an ebook download for this story when you join Shoo Rayner on Patreon? Look, click up here to find out more. And there are lots more Ricky Rocket stories, so click down here and make sure you are subscribed to Shoo Rayner Drawing Channel and keep coming back for lots and lots more stories, drawing and stuff like that.